So it is going to be a challenging couple of days as far as food is concerned. Because, as we all know, there were no sales last week. Oh, shoot. I love it when I wash my hands, but forget to turn on the stove so that I can sterilize the skillet. So as I was saying, the food situation is going to be very challenging this week. So the only thing I can do is make the best of it. I'm out of snacks, which means I'm going to be hungry a lot. And there's nothing I can do about that except maybe, lose some weight, which I need to do. 30 grams is 1/4 cup. Well, that's helpful. 30 grams is 1/4 cup, so 120 grams is going to be a cup. Well, that's good to know. Good, there's a cup. So my first thing to make is going to be noodles. I'm going to start with noodles. Do I want to eat noodles? No. Do I think noodles in any form are healthy? No. Alright, so I'm going to put a pan of water on the stove. So do I think noodles are healthy? Absolutely not. I think they're one of the worst things you can eat. But if you're going to eat noodles, something as awful for you as noodles, you should at least have the decency to make them from scratch. So I've got a cup of flour in here, 1 egg, and I'm about to put some salt in the bowl. Because that is all you need to make egg noodles, is flour, eggs, salt, and milk. Which, as you all know, I bought some milk a few days ago. It's almost gone, but there's enough here to do the eggs. So we're going to put a little salt in here. And we want to put a little milk in here. Do I know how much milk? It says 2 tablespoons. I'm going to tear this out. And put maybe 15 grams. 16 grams of milk. And if I need more, I can do more, but we're going to put this stuff down here, and, well, actually I can probably just mix it right here. So my hands are clean, but I'm going to wash them again. And I've got the paper towels in here right now because sometimes, not very often, sometimes the reusable paper towels catch lint. And if there's one thing you don't want in your egg noodles, it's fuzz. So I'm going to mix this up. It's got just a little bit of, it's got egg in it, it's got milk in it. And I'm just going to use one hand because there's this thing called clean hand, dirty hand. And with your clean hand, you can touch things like the milk container. And this is just basic egg noodles. I can put more milk in these if I wish. And if you look at this online, it says 2 eggs and 2 cups of flour. And I'm just going to do one cup of flour. And this doesn't, you don't want this to be real sticky. And you want a very large area, but you want that area to be very clean. So I have wiped off my lower table just about 60 or 70 times before I even think about doing this. So we'll dump this into this, and then I will have to wash my hands because I touched the phone. So wonderful. I was trying not to do that, but I don't have a third hand. It'd be nice sometimes. All right, so there's my egg noodle dough, and we don't want it very sticky. All right, I gotta wash my hands. And in case you're wondering how I wiped off the table to make sure it's clean, I wiped it off once with a mixture of dish soap and water, just like you would wash a dish. Then I rinsed it with vinegar and let it dry. Then I rinsed it with vinegar and let it dry again. Then I wiped it off twice with just plain water and regular paper towels. So that's how I did it. And I'm pretty sure this is plenty clean enough to do these egg noodles. And you just want to keep kneading them. Yeah. And you just want to keep kneading your noodles. And as far as, kneading these on something, I've never seen anything that was big enough to knead a noodle at all, ever. So here's my noodles. And this looks really good, actually. Need some more. I think these are just about done. So then you usually want to roll these out. Well, like everything else, I just simply don't know where my rolling pin is. So I'm going to do the best I can with my hands. Because all you're trying to do is get it flat so that you can cut it. But I'm going to start tonight's dinner just by making some noodles. And you might be wondering, do I have any pasta here? Well, sure I do. I think everybody does, even though I don't really like to eat it. But I don't really like spaghetti. I don't really trust what is in my pantry because I had a weevil infestation a bit back. The pantry's been cleaned, but some of the food in the pantry was from the weevil time. Because if I'm starving, I'll still eat, at least I assume I would still eat weevil contaminated stuff. Stretching it out. And if you notice, it's not sticking to my table because this is pretty dry. So, and I'm heating the water up on the stove. And you get a workout doing this too, believe it or not. Even if you were to use a rolling pin, you would probably get quite the workout making your own noodles. And it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of flour on the noodles, because that'll help thicken up the water. Okay, so that's done. So yeah, if you're gonna eat like shit, at least make sure the shit that you're eating is homemade from scratch. I mean, noodles are like one of the worst things you can eat, but at least I know what's gonna be in mine. It's eggs, flour, and organic milk. And you need a knife. And salt. So do I know what I'm going to eat with these noodles? No, but what I do know is I need something to go. Like, I don't have enough meat or cheese to make a meal out of it. I did have a reasonably healthy lunch today. It was a smoked sausage, onions, and bacon with butter. That's a fairly decent lunch. All right, so got my knife, got my noodles, make sure they're all pressed out. And this is just 1 cup of flour, 1 egg, a little bit of milk, and some salt. Very easy. And to make cutting them easy, you can fold it up just a little bit and just start cutting them. And you can cut them as thin or as thick as you like. And this 1 little cup will make a ton, you'll see. If I had some chicken, I could make chicken and noodles, but I don't have any. Sometimes I'll have a can of chicken in the pantry, but I don't have any. All right, that's a scrap. So, there we go. Egg noodles. And this is it, folks. It's how you make some noodles from scratch. And if you have a pasta machine, which I do not have, you can make other types of noodles. And these will be fairly thick, because I'm not all that great at squishing them down, but I did pretty good with just my hands. And if you're wondering how much this costs to make, well, each egg's about 50 cents, so probably about 75 cents or so, maybe a little less. But the egg was 50 cents. That was the most expensive part of this. And it's not that it cost me 50 cents. It's that the eggs are now $8 for an 18 pack. So, you know, it's 50 cents. All right, so my water looks pretty hot. I'll test it with a little noodle and then I'll show you what it is. Nope, in fact, I'm not sure there's enough water in this pan. So the water is not quite hot enough, so I will let it sit, and that's okay. This stuff can dry for a minute anyway. That's not hot enough. As you drop the noodles in, they should boil a lot, and this did nothing, so it needs more time. So my noodles are now in the water, and I'm going to let them cook for a while. You almost can't overcook these. So now I wait for the noodles to cook. Now, normally you would want to cook your noodles in chicken broth or beef broth or vegetable broth or something like that. When I went to the store the other weekend, they were out of broth, like all of it. So the way you simulate chicken broth is with butter and salt. So I've already added more salt to the water, and I just put in some butter. So that's as chicken broth as we're going to get. Noodles. And the sun came out. I can't believe it. So how can you tell when these are done? They float. Well, these are floating, so I'm going to take these out, put them in a bowl, and put, I think, some pork in the skillet and boil that. So that made a nice bowl of noodles. Now I need to find some meat. So I put one of my pork chops from the other week in the water that I made the pasta in. This water has already got butter in it. It's already got salt in it. So there's no reason not to just dump the pork in there. Plus, that water's already hot, so it'll start cooking pretty quick. So I boiled my pork, drained the water, and I have cut it into pieces. Added some butter, and I'm going to stir that around. Add some spices, and stir it all up. There it is, a bowl of egg noodles and pork. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.